Good morning and welcome back to the shop. This morning we're going to continue this journey that I have with hand tool woodworking. And for today's episode we're going to talk particularly about the hand planes that I have in my collection. These are planes I've recently started picking up. We'll talk about each plane and kind of what I plan on doing with each of these and how I plan on using them. So hope you guys enjoy and stay tuned. So let's get started on discussing some of these planes. So the first set of planes we're going to talk about are these up front here on the left. And these are considered transitional planes. Now the meaning of a transitional plane, these planes were created as late 1800s, early 1900s. And these were a transition between all wood planes that I'll show you here in a bit and the current design all metal planes that they have now. Early on, a lot of woodworkers had a hard time converting over to these new metal contraptions from a wood plane they had been using for years. Nice advantage of these wood planes is the wooden sole creates less friction than the metal sole planes. So that was a very advantage over wood planes. But they started creating these to kind of help people transition from wood to metal. And these turned out beautifully for collector purposes now. A lot of people still use them. Me personally, these will go on the shelf for display. This particular one is a Stanley number 35. Early 1900s, maybe late 1800s, say 1901 time frame. This is what is considered a smoothing plane, very similar to the number 4 smoothing plane. Very beautifully done. I just oiled it up with some Bolo, which is boiled linseed oil, and just kind of gave it a new finish coat there. Other than that, not really doing anything else with it. I'm leaving the plate irons in them just for purposes. I may just throw some of these that are like old ones in here, but very beautiful. Not going to get used. Going to sit right back here on the shelf for display, like so. Next one we'll talk about is this is a Sargent 3416. Again, another transitional plane that I do not plan on using. I did the same thing to it, just wiped it down with some boiled linseed oil to get some oil back into the wood. This is about the equivalent to a Stanley, maybe 5.5 jack plane. So that's really what this would be used for, just kind of a jack of all trade type plane. Again, very beautiful plane. Does have some damage up here on the handle, but I'm not too concerned with doing anything with that. So very beautiful. Early 1900s, I believe about probably 1903, 1905. And then last but not least on this set of planes is this what I was talking about, all wood construction. I'm not even going to attempt to date or say what model this is. This could have been made by a company, or I'm even inclined to think that this was made by someone in their own personal shop for personal use because of a lot of the hand cutting that's involved in this. You can really see where someone just kind of went in here and cut this out with hand chisels and saws. Solid block, this would be the equivalent more of a jointing plane or joiner's plane with its size. The way these old hand planes work is it locks in place with this wooden lock mechanism. And this has a very thick, heavy blade to it. Definitely not in the best of shape, but I'm not really too concerned with that. Essentially, you take your little wooden lock, set your blade where you want it, and then just you push your lock in and it locks it right in place. If anyone has any more information, please feel free to comment on what you guys think this, maybe a date or model or company, any information about this plane would be greatly appreciated. I when I got it, it was very weathered and kind of dried out. So I gave it a good coating of linseed oil to kind of just help preserve it a little bit. And it turned out beautifully, I think, with this dark, rich color. Again, definitely will not be using this plane. And it sits right back here on display. Great place for it. Very beautiful back there in the back. So, well, we'll go ahead and we'll start talking about the planes that I'm actually going to plan on using and have used. Now that we've talked about the planes that I don't plan on using and kind of set up as museum pieces in the back, let's discuss the planes that I do plan on using and have used, and we'll talk about each one of these planes. These are all Stanley planes. I picked up all of these planes that I have here in front of me, along with the ones in the back, all in one set from a gentleman here in the neighborhood that was looking to get rid of his planes. And I picked them all up on a great deal. So definitely made a huge investment into my hand tools. I only have one more plane I want to add to this collection, and that is a Stanley number 7 jointer's plane. The way planes work number-wise, the smaller the number, the smaller the size. So we have a 6, a 6, a 5, a 4, and then these are considered block planes. I want to add a number 7 jointer's plane. So a number 7 will be about, say, this long out in front, and it'll be used, it's used for jointing longer boards, similar to what a modern day electrical jointer would be used for. But we'll talk quickly or briefly about each of these planes, and we'll start with the first one here. When I picked up this plane, I didn't know much about it. I didn't think much about it. Thought maybe it was just some generic off-brand plane, and the individual I got it from didn't really know much about it either. So I started doing some research on it, kind of find out this is a very unique and giant leap in technology of hand planes for its time. This is a Stanley number G6. It's got a congruted sole on it. It's considered a Type 13, about 1923, 1928 time frame. It's very unique design about this particular plane. It's unlike other planes. I'll show you a little bit how they work. This has an automatic set. So there's no, whenever you go to take your blade out or your plate out, plate iron, and sharpen it, it'll go right back into the same spot. It's much easier adjustment to basically get right into planing and right into going. These are, number 6s are more considered a 4 plane. And that sense comes in as that you would use these planes first or foremost when planing. They're not really a jointer plane. They're designed to take off a lot of material off a surface if you're trying to basically true up, say, a tabletop or something. So Stanley G6, 1923, 1925, probably around about 1925 time frame. Automatic, great. This is the Stanley Bailey number 6. This is a particularly Type 15, 1931, 1932. Again, number 6, 4 plane. I wish I could show you guys the difference in weight of these two planes. This plane, extremely light for its size. This has got some beef to it. But that's what it's there for. You need that extra weight to really just be taking material off a tabletop. Very beautiful latch mechanism. But works great. The blade is nice and sharp on it still. I've already used it. Then you have the Stanley Bailey number 5 jack plane. This is the most common plane that you're going to have. Honestly, if you're going to have any planes, just any plane in general, I would go with the number 5. They do make a modern day 5.5, but this is a Stanley Bailey number 5 jack plane. You can use it as a 4 plane. You could use it as a smoothing plane. I don't know that you get away with it as a jointer. You definitely could get away with using this as a jointer. It's kind of what I plan on doing with it for the time being. But definitely a jack of all planes. Has a very sharp edge on it. I've already put the edge back on this one. So definitely, and you can see the difference when I talked about this automatic one. Very easy to take out. Boom, plates out, plates in, lock it down, and you're ready to go. Whereas here you have to really kind of finicky with how to get this plate in place. But beautiful plane. This is a Type 18, 1946, 1947 plane. Recently picked up this number 4, and this is a Stanley Bailey number 4. It's a smoothing plane. So this is what you would use and say commonly now where you would use a sander. This is what this would be used for. This is one of my older planes. This is a Type 9, 1902, 1907. Again, beautifully done. Very sharp blade in it. I've already used it. So these planes here, all 3 of these planes I use regularly. This one probably won't. It may end up going on display also behind me, but we'll see. Just because it's unique and I really don't want to do too much damage to it. So, and then we have 2 what is considered block planes. Now these, along with the number 5 plane, a block plane should be, if you only have to have 2 planes, I would recommend these 2. A number 5 and just a regular block plane. This is the block plane that it comes with. This is a Stanley 9.5 block plane. Only problem with this is, after I did some research, the individual, whoever had this plane, modified it. So it's kind of a Frankenstein modification. This knob here should be down here. This is the throat adjustment to adjust the throat in and out. And this had more of a locking screw in it. And then they made some adjustments. So it works, but I went ahead and I kind of made a mistake and I bought a newer block plane. And this is a Stanley contractor grade modern block plane. Read reviews on it, wasn't great, but I initially thought maybe I'll cannibalize the parts off of it. For this one, didn't work out so well. I've used this in projects already, and it works well for what it is. I'm going to do some more tune-up on it, but again, this, I don't know if you can see it or not, but this adjustment lever adjusts the throat plate up and down, so you can make adjustments on how much material you want to take off. And then you can just loosen this up. There's a thumb knob on the back to blow the plane iron in and out. But very nice, very handy. Fits good in the hand. So I was quietly surprised when I saw the reviews on this plane. And then I picked it up and I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. It's good quality. I like the good metal in it. But yeah, that's my planes for now. Like I said, I want to add a number 7. So after that, we'll have it all complete. I'm probably going to my next video. I'm going to take one of these planes. I'll probably take this number 6 here, since it's kind of in the, I wouldn't call it the worst of the shape, but we'll go through this number 6 probably in my next video. We'll take it all apart. We'll kind of clean it up and get it, just do some restoration on it. We'll talk a little bit about restoring hand planes. And then I'll start working on the rest of my stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and see you next time. Thanks a lot.